Hello, Real Nerds listeners. Brad here with my friend
Eileen, and I'm the writer and director on a film called Trauma. It's a local independent feature-length film. It's about a girl named Allison who wakes up with a day she can't remember and a head injury, and she starts to think people might be lying to her about how she sustained that injury. And I'm not making it alone. You're going to be the director of photography and one of the producers on the film.
That's right, it's my job to make it look good. So how can people help us make this movie?
Well, movies are expensive to make, and while this is a low-budget film, we do need some funds. So we are trying to raise them online through the crowdsourcing website, Indiegogo.com. We have a campaign set up. It's at Indiegogo.com/trauma-the-film.
That's right, Indiegogo.com/trauma-the-film.com. So Eileen, what incentives do people have to donate to our small feature?
Well, we have a series of perks set up. The first one starts at $5. Anyone who donates to the film, any amount over $5 is going to be listed on our website as a supporter, and they go up from there. We have t-shirts, we have posters, we have DVD copies of the final film. We're offering tickets to the premiere, and they're cumulative perks. So, you know, if you donate for the t-shirt level, you get everything, you know, from that level down. So we have a lot of cool things. And
the more you donate, the better the stuff you get in return.
Even if you can't contribute financially, we need people just to help us spread the word. We're on Facebook. It's at facebook.com/trauma-the-feature, all one word.
That's right. Tell your friends, tell your family. Spread the link across the internet and help us make this movie happen.
We have a great cast and crew of independent artists that are coming together to make this film. It's a great little story, and I think that you'll really like it.
But this offer isn't extended forever.
That's right. The campaign ends October 6th. And if we don't raise enough money by October 6th, we're not going to be able to make the film.
And that'll be disappointing. So don't let that happen. Log on to Indiegogo.com/trauma-the-film and donate today.
And check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/trauma-the-feature.
Does this sound familiar? You're interested in purchasing that new action figure, but aren't sure if it's worth it?
Well, come check out PlasticExplosion.com, where you can go to find all the latest and greatest action figure previews and reviews.
Every week they'll be bringing you reviews and picks from your favorite collections, such as
DC Universe, Masters of the Universe Classics, Marvel Universe,
Star Wars, Transformers,
and many more.
Come check us out at PlasticExplosion.com. That's PlasticExplosion.com.
Oh no, some scary clown squirted water all over my comics.
Never fear, son! In Colorado, there is one place to go for all your comic needs. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh boy, thanks Coins, Cards, Comics, man. Oh no, there's a lady hanging off that building. Can you save her?
I can't save her, but you can also save 20% by getting a hold slot at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh no, she's falling.
Did you know prices are also falling on back issues at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics?
Thanks for saving me, Coins, Cards, Comics guy. Now I can buy my son the card games he wants and the sports memorabilia my husband wants.
That's correct, ma'am. Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics knocks it out of the park. So visit 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And tell them the Real Nerd sent you.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smokin' Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
Hey, welcome to Real Nerds. I am Ryan. To my left is
Brad.
to my right is
James.
And this week we saw Resident Evil Retribution.
It's got some title.
Yeah, but the title doesn't make any fucking sense.
I thought you were going to say it like the video games. Resident Evil
Retribution. Retribution. Retcha, it doesn't matter what the name of the movie is.
Resident Evil Legacy.
Resident Evil. This time, the T-Virus gets out.
Resident Evil 5
is. But I don't want them to confuse it with the great Resident Evil 5 game.
I really don't care one way or the other.
I know.
I actually kind of like the idea that there would be a number because it would remind me that I've seen 5 of these movies.
Isn't that crazy when you think about it? It's
it
literally
is.
a horror movie franchise.
And that movie, like, it was, the first one was fine, but I never would have believed that it would have gone this long.
No, I wouldn't either, but I'll let you in on, I'll do this little trivia for all our podcast listeners. Every new Resident Evil movie has made more money than the previous one.
Yeah.
Every single one. I think the last one domestically was $60 million, but worldwide it was something like $240 million. So, yeah. They'll probably never go away.
It's ridiculous. I just can't. It's kind of like the Uwe Boll movies, where he just keeps making...
What was the last movie he made?
Well,
Postal?
Yeah, no.
6 years ago?
No, I don't remember. No, is that one he did about the Holocaust that no one saw?
Don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he made a movie about the Holocaust.
Do you run his website?
No, but I did sign the petition saying that he should be allowed to keep making movies.
Why?
Because I'm a really big fan of Ed Wood.
Yeah,
so
but
I
there's a difference between Ed Wood and him. Ed Wood had charm because his movies were so bad.
Well, but Ed Wood thoroughly believed that he was making good movies. Like he was trying really hard to do what he loved.
James, I have told you that my barometer for a bad movie is, right?
No.
The worst movie of all time is House of the Dead.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I knew this.
And we've seen Creature. I'm just saying. No, I'll let you know that's how bad House of the Dead is.
No, I know. I don't think Creature is the worst, in the top 10 of worst movies.
It is one of the worst movies of all time, but House of the Dead is worse.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in theaters, but for sure.
Anyways, you can tweet us at real_nerds. You can also email us at realnerds. Wait, realnerds@gmail.com. I can do this, I swear. I've done it 70-something fucking times.
It's okay. Brad will just take what you said last week and then cut it over this one.
That's good. It's probably for the best.
Yeah.
We didn't get anything from Marky Mark. I was kind of hoping he'd call us this week.
He's hiding.
But maybe he's just working on his new Transformer. Who knows? And you can also like us on Facebook. You can download us on iTunes. In case you forgot how to listen to us, you can go to our website too, realnerdspodcast.com.
We should just pre-record reviews, like 4 different kinds of reviews, and pre-record all the other segments, and then just cut it together differently every week. Like, we didn't like this movie, so you throw the bad review on there, and then that's it. We do no work for this podcast at all.
That doesn't make any sense. And I don't even know if you're trying to be funny or what, but your joke fell flat.
Wait,
and again,
wait,
your
hold
cell
on.
phone
Hold
is
on.
going off again.
Hold on a second, guys. My phone went off.
I know. Unfreaking believable.
Pretty sure people listening have shut off the podcast by now.
Totally. Hey, mailbag time.
Feed meal!
Just a couple quick tweets. Jesse from Plastic Explosion mentioned me personally. He said, Ryan just put up some amazing Spider-Man reviews that may interest you. Guess what, Jesse? They did interest me. Thank you. Again, you can go to plasticexplosion.tumblr.com to see all their awesome reviews for toys. Toys are fun.
What Spider-Man toys did he review?
All the ones from the movie. So you should check them out.
Does that include the exclusive midnight screening?
It does not. Well,
Spider-Man?
I think that's just the most basic Marvel Select one.
Oh.
But there is a chase of it with just Peter Parker's head instead of Spidey's head. Or is it Andrew Garfield's head?
What's a chase?
In every case...
Like a variant?
Yeah, in every case of action figures, they usually put one in that's different. Remember when we were at Starfest and I got the Green Goblin without the mask? Yeah, that's what a chase is.
Huh.
And I think I don't know why they give him the name Chase. Maybe Jesse can let me know. Maybe it's because people chase after that figure. I don't know. Jesse probably knows. I don't. So check out plasticexplosion.tumblr.com. And at Mustars, he said, have the wristbands been shipped? They have been shipped. If you haven't got yours like he hasn't, let me know, and I'll just send another one. But he's the only one who said anything, so...
Hopefully everybody else
I think everybody else got theirs. I hope. You can tweet us if you haven't, at real_nerds, and I'll make sure you get one, I promise. So yeah, that's it for the mailbag. No really emails or anything.
I guess everyone was content with our review of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
so.
no one had anything bad to say about Raiders. So yeah, thanks again. You can tweet us real_nerds, email us realnerds@gmail.com. Guess what, guys?
What?
Box office stats. I'm gonna make this really hard for you to edit.
It gets so much more ridiculous every week.
This is the box office stats.
You do realize Joe does that segment, right? Like he dresses it up.
Yeah, I know. I was just making it really hard for you to edit it in. I wanted you to have something to do.
No, he's just going to leave your stupidity in there and then be like, well, yeah, podcast sinks or swims on Ryan.
Number one, repeating for the second week in a row, was the Sam Raimi produced The Possession.
Is it the second week or the third week?
Second week, I believe.
Oh.
It made $9 million. Raiders of the Lost Ark was at 14, but it did 1.6 million in just IMAX theaters, which was like something like 6,000 per screen, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's just over 6,000, which, based on how few people ended up actually being in our screening, makes sense. I mean, I think it was maybe a third full by the time it aired, but we were the only ones in line.
I mean, that movie is all gravy for Paramount. I mean, how much money did it possibly cost? So yeah, thanks Box Office Mojo for your box office stats. You know what really disappoints me is how well I remember stats like that, guys. Like the per screen average. You guys don't even say a fucking word about that.
It's crazy how good you are at that. Sometimes we'll say something about. I bet you could tell me how much money the first Resident Evil movie made.
I think it was 50.1 million to tell you the truth.
I think doesn't sound very confident, but all right.
Give me a second, and I will.
I'm somewhere around 50 million.
Okay,
I guess. No, don't hold me to that, James. But he's going to look it up.
No, you keep going.
So yeah, now it's time for DVD and Blu-rays.
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
It was 40 million.
40 million. Yeah, 10 million off. Pretty close.
Pathetic.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all.
Was it 40.1?
Yes.
So that's pretty good. That's a 50.1.
Yeah.
DVD and Blu-rays. This week, actually, there's kind of big movies coming out that I've already pre-ordered.
Yeah.
The Cabin in the Woods is coming out, which is spoilers, guys, for our end of year in 3 months. It could be in my top 10. Stay tuned.
I can't wait to watch that movie again. I wish I'd seen it twice in theaters.
Me too. Also, the best exotic, Marigold Hotel, which had a great run at the box office.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was.
It's still there.
Yeah, it was in the top 10 for something like 6 or 7 weeks, and ended up grossing over $40 million, which for a little independent English movie about old fucks, that's pretty good.
The truth is, I did want to see it. It's just that we see a lot of movies.
Yeah, me too.
Fall through the cracks.
And I meant to see it with one of my free movie passes. I never just got around to it.
Yeah.
The big release next week, of course, is Indiana Jones: The Complete Adventures Blu-ray, which also comes with an exclusive Blu-ray disc.
I already paid for it. It'll be at my house hopefully Tuesday.
You know, I know Cabin in the Woods will be. I saw that you will get it the day it releases.
Cool.
Also, Supernatural Season 7, which I keep on meaning to see because I heard it's kind of a cool show.
Yeah, me
but
too.
it's one of the ones I've never really got around to. You just don't like it because your ex-girlfriend liked it. Let's be honest, Brad.
No, it was still boring.
No, you fell in love with Jared Padalecki and just, I mean...
Wow.
Let's just call it what it is.
Way to pull that name. Would you say it's better or worse than Eureka?
I haven't seen Eureka, so that
would you
be fair.
say it's better or worse than Terra Nova?
I haven't seen Terra Nova, so that wouldn't be fair.
Would you say it's better or worse than that other one that came out last year that nobody watched?
Shut up, James. Move on.
Modern Family Season 3. My wife loves that show. I've seen a few episodes. It's all right.
Yeah. It seems a little sitcom-y. I've never actually watched it, but it was hard for me to even watch How I Met Your Mother, and of course I love that show, so trying to get me to watch another clearly sitcom show is difficult.
Yeah, that one is too weird, too. I sat down and watched it. It's like The Office. These people are documenting family life. I didn't know it was like that until I watched it with my wife one day. The Criterion Collection expands with the game, which I love the art for the game. The DVD cover is awesome.
It is.
And the movie's really cool, too. If you've never seen the movie, you should definitely check it out.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like a weird one to me because the game to me is just like, it's a good thriller, but I've never felt like it's that much deeper than that. But for it to have a Criterion, I think is pretty weird. But it's...
Because it's Fincher.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. David Fincher.
It's a cool movie. And I always thought Michael Douglas had the coolest voice.
Yeah.
Whenever he talks, I always say, man, when I get old, I want his voice to tell me what to do.
Even cooler than Kiefer Sutherland or James Earl Jones.
Ooh, that's a tough call. I don't like Axe body spray, but that Kiefer Sutherland's doing an Axe body spray commercial that's really cool. I kind of want to get some Axe body spray.
I'm a fan of Sam Elliott when Sam Elliott talks on things.
Yeah,
He pretty much
especially
just does
Dodge
truck
Rams.
commercials. Yeah, exactly.
Also, for Brad, Katy Perry, All of Me is out.
Yeah, I got my
You
pre-order.
want to hear something funny about that movie? It's one of the best reviewed movies of the year.
Are you kidding me?
No.
All I heard was how terrible it was.
No,
I
I'm not
didn't
joking.
I didn't even realize it actually came out. Like, I remember us making fun of the trailers and stuff, but I don't remember seeing it on a marquee.
Thank you for believing in my very crazy. I don't know.
Yeah.
She says something like that at the end.
I didn't even notice that they weren't making me watch that trailer anymore.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think it's over 90% on the tomato meter.
that's crazy.
I'm not exaggerating.
Because the only people who went to saw it were already predetermined to like
Well,
the movie.
and the truth is what it is. I mean, it's a concert movie. Like, how can it be that bad? Obviously you could not like the music, but there's just going to be interstitials where she's like, it was really hard sometimes, but I got through it, and you can too. And then she'll sing another song. So it's not like...
I will say this.
there's
I
much
thought
to it.
her movie looked more interesting than when we went to see those Fathom events of the Grateful Dead. That looks really exciting.
Well-
Jerry Garcia just standing there and singing.
Well, that's old footage that wasn't made to be like, she's putting on some kind of
You can
crazy
still
show.
have fun. I think Michael Jackson's Dangerous tour from 1990 is pretty sweet.
But again, that's a pop singer. Like, their music doesn't stand on its own, so they just have to like put on a show. I know, I said it.
Was it you who was saying how great the Jonas Brothers movie was?
No, it was not me.
No, I think
It made
was.
a lot of money though, didn't it?
But I will say that
Unfortunately.
Justin Bieber's something.
Never say no. Never say die. Never again.
Wow, you know it, huh?
No, I'm.
Or are you just rattling off James Bond titles?
I was gonna say, I think I'm
If you
just
go to James's room, you'll see like the Raiders poster is slightly peeling
You
off
know-
the wall, and there's a Justin Bieber poster
You know
behind
what?
that.
We have a believer following us. Maybe that's James's other Twitter handle. A believer.
Justin Bieber never say never again.
I think that's his. I think
No, it's not. That's a James Bond movie.
it is, but I'm pretty sure it's something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something like that. Never back down. No, that's a,
I think that's another dance movie.
Never Cry Wolf.
Why is Sawyer from Lost teaching urban kids to dance? What was it?
Yeah, to beat
Best of the year.
To beat the
3D,
Koreans.
The Koreans.
He's dance fighting with the Koreans.
I guess I should elaborate. There's a trailer for a movie that looks horrible, and the guy from Lost is in it.
Is it Battle of the Year in 3D?
Battle of the
That's what it's
Year in
called?
3D or something, or Best of the Year? I don't remember.
No, it's definitely Battle something.
Yeah.
I think it's
Then
Battle.
it's Battle of the Year.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the trailer, they go 3D, and they It's like, when you huddle up as a football team, you say, we go out there, we play Broncos football, we come out champions, Broncos on 3, 1, 2, 3 Broncos. In this movie, they said 3D, and they did the.
We go out there, we throw things at the camera, 3D.
And also, Ed Wood comes out on Blu-ray.
This I'm excited about.
I love that movie.
I may not buy this right away because I will spend over $100 on Blu-rays this week.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see them.
Yeah.
Not that it's going to look that much better, but I love that movie.
And it's the only Tim Burton movie that's any good. Thanks,
No,
digitalbits.com for meh.
Big Fish.
I think you wanted to mention Bait 3D. Is
Bait
coming
3D
out.
comes out this week.
There literally is a new Shark Attack movie every week.
I know. That's why I want to keep doing this to
From
bring
the
people's
studio
attention.
that brought you Alien Origin comes Bait 3D.
There might be as many shark movies as there are zombie movies.
I think there's more shark movies than there are zombie
There
movies.
might be.
Do they have shark movie conventions?
They should.
And let's go to one.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
People run around
I'm
dressed
going
as
to tell
sharks?
you guys, I'm going to tell you right now, Sand Sharks was way better than
It's bullshit.
Crocosaurus shark.
Oh, I forgot about sand sharks. I need to see that.
Thank you, digitalbits.com, for supplying us with all the DVD releases. Remember, click on the art on digitalbits.com. It'll take you directly to Amazon, where you can buy the movie and support digitalbits.com. Hey guys, let's unspool some real news.
It's real news.
I'm going to mention right now that our friend Aaron made a really cool poster of our podcast.
Oh, it was so neat.
That you can go on our website and check out. So that's my contribution to the news this week.
It was
guys.
really cool.
It is really
this
cool.
morning, and I thought, it's so good.
It is. It's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron, for taking time to make us unique. It kind of reminds me of like a Roald Dahl picture.
Totally, yeah.
Like the hands and stuff. I don't know if you ever read Roald Dahl when you were younger. I loved Roald Dahl. The BFG, the Witches.
I was
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I was somewhat
Matilda,
scarred.
great book.
When I was in the second grade or something like that, he wrote like an autobiography, and in that book he talks about when he had his tonsils taken out, and it was just like he walked into the doctor's office and they took a knife and like shoved it in their mouth and like, you know, like waved it around in his mouth until like shit fell out of his mouth, and then his tonsils were gone. And he describes it in the most horrible way, and it has haunted me all my life.
He wrote a James Bond movie. I forget which one.
Never Say Never Again.
Thank you.
Yep.
I knew that. I didn't know he was a screenwriter, but he's also a screenwriter.
I just want to make it
Well,
clear.
he was a screenwriter.
He didn't write that movie. He wrote some other Bond movie, but not that.
It's one of them. It's one of the ones in the 60s, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, if you're at the library like, I want a good book to read, Matilda. Pick up Matilda. It's great.
Dude, yeah, absolutely.
Anyways, what you got for news, James?
Well, just to put a nail in this coffin, there is definitely not going to be... There was some up and down on this, but there's definitely not going to be a extended version of The Dark Knight.
What?
Big surprise.
I just
but
did a mic drop.
I still think it was worth talking about last week.
I know, it'd be sweet if he did, but he's one of those directors like Spielberg is just...
Yeah.
They might put deleted scenes on, but I don't think he's ever going to do a director's cut.
Speaking of Spielberg, way to segue.
Thank you.
Did you guys see that Lincoln trailer?
I did.
I was hoping to see it during our movie, but
I know I was
me
too.
too.
But
it was
I
a long shot, but yeah.
Yeah. Dude, hey Ryan, you loved this trailer. How much did you love this trailer?
I liked it a lot. I'm a really big fan of presidential history.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool just seeing Spielberg do... Oh, man, I don't know.
I saw part of it, and
Yeah.
it looked like visually fantastic, which is no...
Oh, man, there was...
shocker.
My favorite shot is Lincoln is riding a horse through the battlefield of Gettysburg of
Takes
the
his hat
aftermath. Oh, my gosh.
The shot where he takes his
Yeah,
hat
and he
off.
takes his hat off.
No,
Oh,
it is.
man,
There's
it's-
something about that that's very chilling. I think this movie is going to be important. And I say that, I really love Spielberg, and I've said before that he's going to win Oscars this year. I'm positive about that. This will probably be the Best Picture winner. Without having even seen the movie, I could lay money on that.
And
I think it's going to deserve it.
I will say, too, I love Daniel Day-Lewis's interpretation of how he sounds.
Yeah, because he doesn't quite sound like how I think I would expect Lincoln to sound.
But I
it's
remember
very
reading
human.
something about Lincoln, and it reminded me of... I don't remember the wording of how he sounded.
Yeah.
But when Daniel Day-Lewis was speaking in the trailer, I'm like, I think that's how he would sound, where it's kind of Southern, but not really Southern.
Yeah.
It's a distinguished gentleman, I guess, is the best way to say it.
Right.
And, I became a huge fan of Sally Field, and seeing her in a movie, too, makes me excited.
Yeah.
Because, she's in Spider-Man, and I loved her in Soap Dish. God, I love Soap
And
Dish.
I forgot that Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in this movie.
He is.
This really is his year. I mean, not all of his movies were good, unfortunately, but he
I don't
was
think
in a lot
Premium
of
Rush
them.
was bad.
No, I don't think it was that bad.
I mean, I didn't
But-
rush out to see it.
Whoa!
You did. You went on the opening day.
Yeah, we did. We actually
But
did.
were we premiumly rushing to it?
No. See, now you're trying to.
Anyways, what else you got for me, James?
New Line is apparently working really hard and starting to meet with directors for Y the Last Man. Have you guys read Y the Last Man?
I haven't. I know what it's about, though.
Okay, so my mission for the next 2 years is to make sure that you guys read this book because it's amazing. Like, it really is. It's
Who
one of the things,
wrote it?
I'm
just kidding.
Yeah,
I know
some
who wrote
guy, some Vaughn, something. Dick Vaughn. I don't know. No, Brian K. Vaughan. This was one of the books that got me into comics. 6 years ago when I started reading again. And it's fantastic. It's really, really good. And basically what they're saying is that they have got a script now that they actually really like. And I like the idea that it's New Line because obviously New Line did all the Lord of the Rings movies, and they are okay with the idea of doing multiple movies and putting money behind, a longer project like that. Now, nobody's saying that's what they're going to do, and I certainly don't expect that's what they're going to do, but I would hate it if they tried to do the entire story in one movie. But still, I'm excited by this. It's one of those things we didn't hear much about because Brian K. Vaughan left comics and did scripting for a while, and then none of his movies got made, and I was very sad. But I'm excited for this to actually happen. This needs to happen.
I think it's fun whenever it's not really independent, but it's a DC Vertigo, so when books like that get picked up to be made into movies,
Yeah.
it always kind of intrigues me.
Just a couple more tiny little things. Disney is suing a company called Brightspark because they made a movie called Braver, and it has the same cover. I haven't seen a trailer for it, but it is literally it's like an Asylum version of Brave, but it's not Asylum, which is weird.
It's the kid version of Asylum. Maybe it's like a division of Asylum.
It very well may be. But just to call the movie Braver, like they didn't call it, like there was that movie Korra the Brave, which I think is an Asylum picture, which I don't think it's Korra, but it's something like that, where the word Brave was biggest on the cover, but the title was not Brave. They just used the word in it. But this is literally, and the font is the same, like it's the same, we got little squiggles and stuff.
I'm looking at it, they even have the Stonehenge kind of thing going on.
Yeah, they've got
in
the
it.
Stonehenge thing, they've got the little wisps and stuff around the bottom. Oh, it's this one's really bad. I hope that Disney crushes these people.
Isn't it weird
so
how
that
people
stops
think that
happening.
that's okay?
Yeah, and
I never would, because you can do it. If it's a parody, that's a direct, a parody, but it's not even close to being a parody. It's just a rip-off of it.
Well, they've been doing this for 10 years, and I don't know how they make any money doing it. Like, I don't know where they're selling these movies. I mean, they have to be selling them on the streets of, like, Baghdad for 15 cents and telling people that this is what American movies look like. Maybe that's why these people don't like us over there.
You don't have to go that far. You can just walk down the street in New York and
well, yeah,
pick up a copy of something like that.
But I mean, they have to be selling them to people who don't know that, like, there was a movie called Brave, and that.
Well, I think everybody's had a parent who bought you like I don't know, like the not Disney version of The Little Mermaid.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember those.
But they probably don't sue them because The Little Mermaid is, I'm guessing, is public domain. But Brave is definitely a product of Disney.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
And obviously Disney is a stickler on this one.
I would be too.
Yeah. It's funny, Ryan, last week you said something to me about how good the reviews for Hotel Transylvania have been so far. I still haven't read any of those, and while that trailer doesn't look offensively bad to me, I still am not crazy about going to see it. But I was reminded that the guy who made that movie, his name is, if I can pronounce it properly, Gendy Tartakovsky, who I didn't ever know his name, but I always knew that I really liked that guy because he's the guy who did Samurai Jack some years ago on Cartoon Network, which I don't know if you guys ever watched it because I'm sure it was after your time. Did you really?
How old does he think this guy think we are?
I don't know, 57 years old.
Do you think we'd not watch? I still watch Cartoon Network.
What's a movie?
What's this fiddle fap thing that I turn on and the cable comes through?
Well, when it was on...
Hey, let me tell you a story about when we were watching Cartoon Network. We're the reason there's Adult Swim on Cartoon Network, motherfucker.
Dude,
Represent.
I was watching the early days of Cartoon. I was watching Cartoon Planet before there was an Adult Swim, so, But when I was watching Samurai Jack, it was when I was watching Cartoon Network all day,
Yeah.
It was during
It's really
that period
popular
of my
about
life.
4 or 5 years ago, right?
Was it really? Well, oh, no, it was longer than
It was
that.
longer than that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was definitely.
I don't remember The Departed came out 6 years ago. Come on.
It was when I would consider myself to have been a kid that show came out and was really blowing up. And obviously, it goes without saying, the show was amazing. The art style was great. The action was fantastic. The best action in a kid show until Avatar: The Last Airbender. Anyway, after this movie, and hopefully if it does well, he's saying that he wants to make a Samurai Jack movie, which is awesome. I want to see that. I want that to happen. I want it to not be a 3D animated movie. But anyway, that's the news for the week.
He digresses.
Yep. Brad, you got anything?
Nope.
Cool.
No, that's it.
Sorry,
huh?
I got
We can announce we'll be at the Mile High Horror Fest.
Yeah, we will.
Or is it called the Horror Fest? I think that's what it's called. Is it the
Mile
Horror
High
Fest or
Horror Film Festival?
Film Festival, and we will be
October 5th through the 7th at the Denver Colfax Film Center.
But we'll be there October 6th.
Just one day
on the Saturday. But you'll be able to sit down and talk with us. Your love for horror movies.
We'll try to raffle off something again.
We'll try. Yep.
We'll be asking for donations for Alex's
wristbands, and we will I'm going to try. I'm not going to say who I'm trying to get for an interview, but I've been prepping for this.
Say it.
Okay. Kane Hodder is going to be there, and he played Jason in 4 films, and he's also Victor Crowley in the Hatchet movies. And I've literally prepped like 40 questions to ask him. So I really hope I get an opportunity to interview him. I'm gonna send him a tweet on his Twitter at Kane Hodder Kills, which is kind of awesome and scary at the same time. Because my guess is he's kind of intimidating in real life, not like in a bad way, but I mean to project those kind of characters, you'd have to kind of be. You
get worried that he gets too into character, maybe.
Yeah, because he could just give me that look and it'd probably scare the hell out of me. I will say he was the first one who really gave Jason kind of a personality, which sounds kind of dumb, but if you've watched as many Friday 13th as many times as I've watched him, it definitely comes through.
Not with his face, but with his body.
With his
like
body.
with the way that he moved.
Yeah, because I'll say this. When you watch the early Jason movies, it's just a big guy who ran around and chased people.
Yeah.
Kane Hodder kind of made him slow down, and he made his moves deliberate and violent.
Yeah.
And so he definitely had a swagger to him. And it's really disappointing when he wasn't in Freddy vs. Jason. But anyways, we'll be there.
Cool.
You can sit down and talk to us. James isn't a big horror movie fan. I am.
But I am ready to learn. I want to.
Hopefully you will. I always say this about horror movies, though, and for some reason it's the genre that I think is affected so much by good and bad. There's hardly ever a horror movie you're like, oh, this is okay. It's usually, hey, this is cool, and usually it or not. This week they released the trailer for Texas Chainsaw 3D, which
I didn't watch that.
Which isn't a massacre anymore, I guess.
It's not a massacre. But I was reading the synopsis of it, and I'm reading it. And I said, "This sounds just like the one they redid in like 2003."
The Jessica Biel one?
The Jessica Biel one, which I think is actually really good. But then I saw the trailer. I'm like, no, I'll watch it. It's violent. It comes out in January, and I'm always a big fan of slasher movies, so we'll see. Check it out. The poster's badass.
The
poster's
poster
really cool.
is interesting.
James and I had a discussion before the movie about the poster, how he thinks it's too gruesome to be actually on display.
I don't think they should be. And I said,
it's right
I felt
next to like Brad Pitt holding a shotgun.
Whoa, there's a difference between Brad Pitt holding a shotgun and masks made out of dead people's faces.
I told you, maybe a kid doesn't recognize that that's like human flesh. Maybe it's like, oh, just scary.
But even a kid
mask
that,
movie.
like an 8-year-old who's old enough to recognize that.
Is it Saw 4 where it's like a severed leg that was a poster?
I was just gonna say, I always thought that the Saw
string.
Yeah, I always thought that the Saw trailers or posters were too much to be in theaters too. But
I don't think so. Way to go, censorship. This guy.
I'm just saying.
Hey guys, stuff we've been watching.
So, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I haven't sung a while on the podcast. I really felt like I had to do it.
I feel like he sings every week.
Probably do. I have a really light week this week. I actually only watched one movie.
Was it good?
It was awesome.
Good.
It's Abbott and Costello meet The Mummy. And, it was actually a movie they did 7 years after Meet Frankenstein. And they did a bunch of movies. I watched, what really got me interested on the 100th anniversary Universal Blu-ray of Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. There's a really cool, about 50-minute documentary about Abbott and Costello through the Universal years. And it is really interesting because they were talking about how they wanted to do something with the monsters, Universal, because the monsters were such big money makers for them in the 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
But they didn't know what to do with them. And they saw a little Abbott and Costello movie called Get the Ghost or Getting the Ghost, something like that. And they saw how funny these guys were when they were scared. So they approached them and they said, yeah, we'll do it. And the first script they got, they hated it. And so they rewrote it and then they ended up liking it. And that's how they kind of got going on this. They meet monsters and they made, then they made that movie. Then they made a couple more movies and they made Meet the Mummy. And dude, I don't know what it is about Abbott and Costello, but those guys kill me. Meet the Mummy is their American guys that are stuck in Cairo, and they're mixed up with this mummy that is going to rise, and he has a medallion. If you have this medallion, the mummy's going to kill you. And the guy who's searching for him is Richard Deegan, who is Mel Cooley on the Dick Van Dyke Show, a lot younger. And it's the setup is so funny. It starts off, the mummy's really not in it that much, but they're trying to find this doctor so they can transport this mummy back to the United States so they can get home. And so they go to see him, and the doctor's been murdered by the Egyptian evil guys because they want the mummy too. And of course, only Costello sees the dead body of the doctor. So it's really like a 10-minute gag of the doctor's sitting in a chair dead, and he's calling out to Abby. He's like, Abbott! Hey, Abbott! That's where that's from. I didn't know that was from. Is, hey, Abbott! And so...
I hate that guy.
He comes running in, and every time he comes running in, the dead body's moved by the henchman. So the next time he, I was like, hey, go get in the bathroom, see if you can find the doctor. So he goes in the bathroom, and the doctor's hanging by the coat rack dead, and he sees him again, and by the time he runs in, he moves him again. And the end of the bit is they take a picture with the dead doctor because they're being chased by the bad guys. Like, oh, make sure we give this to the police. And so the picture Costello takes is with Abbott, like, with his arms around the dead guy, and on the back of the Polaroid he wrote, this is Dr. I forget the doctor's name, P from a friend, and so he mails it to the police so they're being wanted for murder. But the best bit from the whole movie is the mummy rises out of his sarcophagus, and Costello's sitting on like this little ledge, and the mummy moves really slow, so he's like reaching for him. Then Costello will stand up all of a sudden, and he'll move around the sarcophagus, and the mummy's like chasing him really slowly, and he's really pondering where the mummy went. Oh, it's fucking hilarious. So I'd recommend. It's not as good as Meet Frankenstein, but really close. And I'm hoping, I didn't see it on Netflix, but I'm hoping Amazon Prime has Meet the Invisible Man, because that's the other one that they did. And if you've seen Meet Frankenstein, that's what happens at the end, is the Invisible Man's in the boat with him.
Right.
So, that was cool. And I also started watching Spartacus Vengeance, which if you want to see blood and guts and tons of fucking, watch Spartacus.
That show.
And, it was a little weird, seeing a new Spartacus. Not that he's good. He's really good.
He is really good.
But, it took me about 10 minutes to get into it again.
Right.
Because, you're so used to seeing another character, and it's not his fault.
No, it's really just that, like, all of your feelings about that character you attributed to the visual representation of that old actor.
Exactly.
But then you've got to, it takes you a second to drag all of that stuff in your brain and lay it on this new guy's shoulders and be like, okay, I'm supposed to feel this way about you.
Exactly.
And this is, you're acting this way because of these things that happened to you, even though it's
that's what's weird. But, I mean, it started badass where he's running from these horses, and the camera, pulls out, and he starts bashing all these horses in the face and stabbing these guys in the face. Oh, it's badass. I should check out Spartacus. I haven't finished watching it yet, but I can't wait.
I can't wait to talk to you about some of the ridiculous shit that happens in that season. I may have to go back and rewatch some of it.
Yeah, don't tell me. Let me watch these 10 episodes.
No.
But what's crazy is when, they're, keep on kind of, I guess exposition-wise, they harp back to the previous season. I was like, oh, yeah, that happened. Oh, yeah, that character. I remember that guy. It's that character. Yeah. And I don't remember, is the first season only 10 episodes too? Or is it 13?
No, I think it's 13.
But I don't remember that much happening, but that much happened in that season.
Oh, yeah.
But then, too, you also think that it's on Starz, so I think on Starz it's probably 55 minutes opposed to
it is
42 or whatever network TV is.
Right.
So, yeah, check out Spartacus. It's awesome. And I can't wait to finish watching it, which I probably do tomorrow. Watch 7 hours of Spartacus. That's all I watched. Mellow week. Sorry, listeners of Real Nerds. I watched the whole Walking Dead special features. Does anyone hear about those?
I haven't finished them yet.
Good. They're good. I love The Walking Dead. James, what have you been watching?
Well,
you're gonna start off. You're gonna start off with the
loyal listeners are gonna know that this has been coming for a while.
The grassy knoll.
This is something we've discussed before. But this week I finally got a chance to watch His Girl Friday, which is a movie that's
a great movie.
Yeah, it was on the Internet Movie Database. Or not the Internet Movie Database, the Internet Movie Library. You could torrent it for free, and it was one of those movies. So I downloaded it then just to try that out. And that movie is really good. Basically, it's Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell, and they're both newspaper people. And it's sort of a satire and also sort of this romantic comedy kind of thing where she's his ex-wife and he runs this newspaper, and she wrote for the newspaper, and she's about to get married to a new husband tomorrow, and he's doing all these crazy things to try and get her hooked into writing newspaper again, so that he can sort of win her back and have her write for his newspaper. And it's fun because there's that going on, and then there's also this sort of not murder mystery, but it's like a court case with this guy who shot this other person, and the newspaper is trying to prove, even though that's not their job, they're trying to prove that he's innocent and that he only fired the gun because that's what guns are built to do. And as soon as he had one in his hand, he was like, well, I guess I have to shoot someone with this. And it's great. Like there are moments when a woman jumps out of the window and falls, and you think that she's dead, and the newspaper people's reaction to that is they run to the window and they think like it's a really good story, and then she's alive, and they're like, oh, this is even better, and then they're gonna run downstairs. Like they're not actually worried about the fact that a woman just jumped out of their window, or they eventually have the murderer and they hide him in a desk. And he's just in the desk for the rest of the movie, pretty much. It's really good. I've
been really enjoying going back and watching old movies because I love seeing what appealed to audiences back then if they still hold up. And a lot of them do. I forgot to mention in Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy, it was totally meta. Costello would break the fourth wall like every 5th minute.
Oh wow!
It was really cool because he's saying, "Oh, they think I'm a scaredy cat," and then he'd like look directly at you and say, "I'll show you how I'm a scaredy cat. I'm going to record my voice saying something scary." And you're like, he's literally just breaking the fourth wall and talking to the camera. It was awesome, but yeah, that's cool. I'm really digging going back and watching old movies.
Yeah. It was one that, like, when it started, and I didn't quite realize what it was supposed to be, especially the satire kind of stuff, like. Because there was that cultural distance between when it was made and now, because it was made in 1940, there were things I didn't realize it was being satirical, and so at first I was like, it sort of felt like a drama, and the dialogue was really quick, so I was having a hard time always keeping up on what was going on. And I was like, well, okay, that character is just dumb, and this character I guess I'm supposed to like. And then it took me a while before I was like, oh, this is what this actually is. And then I really liked it. But it is a weird thing where you go back to those movies and you don't quite realize what they were supposed to be at the time,
or when you
what
saw
their
when you're
sense of
younger.
humor is.
Like I didn't remember Singing in the Rain was like slapstick. I had no idea remembering that, but that made sense because they said, well, that's why I liked this when I was younger because I mean it's goofy. But but stuff like that, you don't think that they'd hold up so well, and they're so intelligent.
Yeah.
That movies like that, like The Maltese Falcon and stuff. I love that movie. So yeah, that's cool.
And it came up. I've had it on my computer for a while, and the truth is, it's actually on Netflix too, so you don't have to torrent it to watch it. It's just on Netflix. But last week during the football game, I was looking through your book that's 1,001 Movies You Should See Before You Die, and it's in there. And I was like, oh, okay, I should see it. And at first, when I was watching it, I was like, I don't know if this is really one of those. But I think it probably is. I think it is pretty dang good. The 39 Steps, which I talked about a few weeks ago, was in there too, which was cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, I threw Brad off because he knew what I was doing. The truth is, this is the week that I saw Father's Day, which I think we should just go ahead and talk about this openly. If you're somebody who has heard us talk about this movie, or you know what Troma is and you're interested in it, just skip forward until we're not talking about fucking stupid shit, and then we'll then go see the movie. Otherwise, just if you're not interested in Troma,
see the movie.
What?
It's right there. Just you recommend people see the movie.
Wait. If you're into that shit, yeah. But if not, sit and listen. And I want the three of us to talk about this movie and the shit that happens. Because the fuck is going on? Okay. All right. I will say this. I think that a lot of the scenes with just the three guys, and especially Ahab, are actually a little bit legitimately funny. Everything that involves Chris Fuckman is the worst god-awful garbage. Not just like, well, it's awful to look at, like, because it's just gross, or it's abrasive, or whatever. It's just poorly shot. It's poorly like edited together. It doesn't build tension. I'm not afraid of Chris Fuckman. I don't think he's funny. I don't think it's like. It's
that should be a bumper sticker. I'm not afraid of Chris Fuckman.
It's just
somebody thought about this a lot.
It's just obnoxious. It's just
I think so
obnoxious.
too. I think that's my biggest problem with the movie is it's so over the top that it makes it obnoxious, and you're just saying, "Come on, man!" Because you're right. Some of the stuff is funny with Ahab. Like I said, I laughed when they come out of the tunnel and he points. I was like, there he is, and he shoots him in the hand. That stuff's funny.
And or the scene right after that where where Ahab runs over there. The whole scene there is great. Ahab runs across that bridge and like shoots and destroys and stomps on Chris Fuckman's head till he's dead, and then throws him off the cliff, and he splatters. And Ahab has got such an adrenaline rush. He's just like, that was fucking awesome, and he's apologizing to the guys like, oh, you didn't get in on that. You didn't get to kill Chris Fuckman like I did. Oh man, you didn't. That is so good. And the thing is, like, okay, with a movie like Creature, which we talked about before, that movie knows what it wants to be, and it's trying really hard to be it. The problem is that there's absolutely no talent involved in making that movie. Whereas this movie, it's almost more insulting that sometimes these guys make really good scenes and have really funny lines. One of my favorite moments is when they're in that little room and they're talking about how they're going to get to hell and killing themselves, and Twink says, okay, this is really off topic, but can we go buy my house and feed my cats? I'll pay for gas money, or I'll give you some cash for gas money. And it's just so like random. It was hilarious. It was one of the times that I really laughed out loud at this movie. But then everything with Chris Fuckman is awful. Like everything with, or any of the scenes with a woman in it is horrible. Anything with a stripper, anything with him having sex with his sister, it's just not like, oh, this is fun taboo and I can get into it. It's just bad storytelling.
Yeah, the funny thing is I think they wanted you to be really cringing when he's fucking his sister, because it literally is the longest sex scene I think I've ever seen on on TV or in a movie, because it goes on and on and on and on, and it makes you uncomfortable. You're like, he's fucking his sister. She's kind of hot though.
But the thing is that I know I'm watching a movie. I know that's not actually that actor's sister, so it's not. Yeah. Like, and they didn't set him up as being
possessed, so it's not like.
Oh, that makes it okay.
Yeah. The character is actually Chris Fuckman. Oh God. Yeah, because then there's just fucking.
It's almost like
dudes cutting their dicks and shit, and like what. They go to this place where they act like I'm supposed to be disturbed by what I'm seeing, but I know that it's fake, and I know, and it's done so poorly that it has absolutely no effect. It just gets boring.
Yeah, I struggled with that too. I was trying to keep my attention in it.
Right.
But they'd be at her apartment, and then all of a sudden Chris Fuckman shows up. Like those parts, I don't get. I don't know if there's.
It's because he's just he's supernatural.
Well, that's a horrible plot device. It's like a ticking.
It is. Exactly.
It's like a clock that's counting down that they got to get out of somewhere.
Whereas if this were
I don't think you're supposed to take this movie that seriously.
If this were just a road trip movie where at one point those guys lock themselves out of their car, it'd be great. Because again, another scene that I loved was where they had a scene where they were getting ready to kill Chris Fuckman, and the well, I'll get to that in a second. That was really good too. But they, at the end of the scene, they all walk over to the car and they each just go, yeah, my door's locked. And then they cut away. And the timing is just perfect. It's just perfect. Because I think they cut away to then when Chris Fuckman kills all those strippers, and then I'm very sad. And I'm like, this is boring as shit. I don't like to watch this. But then the scene earlier when the pastor tells the younger pastor, whatever their names are, the blind pastor tells the young pastor, you have to go find Ahab. And there's this montage of the pastor like running through the sea and through the wilderness, and finally gets to this cabin in the woods, and his clothes are all torn up, and it's just like he's been on this journey and we didn't really see it.
He didn't take any like transportation. He just physically ran.
Yeah, he's like,
across the world.
I know that Ahab is in that cabin way over there, and he just runs to it. It's great. It's a really good moment. But fuck.
Man.
What was that conversation he and Ahab were having in the car, I think, before they went to the strip club? There's a really funny
line. There is. Yeah, that part is funny. What's he saying to him? Oh, fuck, it is funny. I can't remember.
Because he says something about how hard he's worked on his syrup and all of that, and the guy's like, so you're an ancient tree, and your sister is the sweet syrup and all of that.
Yeah.
And like the pastor thinks it's a metaphor, and he's really just saying like, no, I really worked really hard on this, and the pastor's trying to convince him that it was a metaphor. Yeah. No, exactly.
Then Ahab gets all upset about it.
That's really smart indie dialogue for a scene like that, and I want to see that movie. I want somebody to cut this movie and just cut Chris Fuckman out of it. It'd be like 20 minutes long, and it'd be hilarious, and it would have no plot at all.
But overall, I think the movie's horrible.
Oh yeah.
I can't
recommend anyone watch it, because that's the thing. The Chris Fuckman stuff is so bad that I think you have to drag yourself through so much of the movie to get to those little gems. And I think maybe those little gems are only good because they are in a dearth of talent. Like that those scenes, you get to them and you're like, hey, these lines are not delivered like horribly, and this dialogue is not the worst thing ever. So all of a sudden it's even funnier.
The opening scene with Twink and his dad is like, oh my god, this is horrible.
I was like, seriously, whose dad is this? This is one of their dads. And then I have to watch that guy get raped.
And his dick eaten off.
Yes. What the fuck?
You know, when I saw Father's Day, I saw 2 movies with dicks being eaten off in it. One was with sheep, and the other one was Father's Day.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I heard it was your dick week.
It was.
Oh, man.
Dick week.
But yeah.
Anything to add, Brad?
I have to get to the point of, no one should watch this movie.
Oh. Well, no.
I said, if you're somebody who's really into trauma, then yes. But if you're not into trauma, don't go see this movie.
It might be the best movie Trauma's ever made. The Toxic Avenger okay, but yeah, it might be.
Cannibal the Musical.
They really didn't make that, though? Did they just pick it up, though?
Yeah, I don't think that...
I don't think they make anything. I think they pick up stuff. They pick up...
But that was a student film. Like, that wasn't made to...
I don't think...
Email us at realnerdsgmail.com and clarify the trauma ways of making movies.
I'll try and look it up. I mean, I feel like they always just pick
Maybe
up...
Maybe they go to a horror fest and they say, hey, we'll
exactly. Like Adam the Zombie Killer, I think, like it's that same route.
Yeah.
They just make it, and then what money does Troma make, really?
Obviously enough to produce Blu-rays. And a limited 5,000.
Yeah.
If I never saw another movie where somebody came back into town and their sister had become a stripper, I'd be happier for it.
And I do love the scene where they're in hell and they're like, how do we get back? And he shoots himself in the face again, and he's like, this didn't work at all. And he's blood, and he's crying and teeth are falling out. That's funny.
Yeah. Like I said, the scenes were just those 3 guys. Because even the scene where they kill themselves, like where Ahab kills himself, and then the other 2 guys sit there and they're like, fuck. Like, I don't want to do that. I think one of them says, did it work? I don't know. Oh, yeah.
I love how when they wish themselves back and they're stuck in their dead bodies, and then the cats are like kind of licking them.
Yeah.
Do they come back? I thought they were just dead.
Well, it doesn't say one way or the other, but it does kind of imply that like maybe they did get teleported back into their bodies, but their bodies are dead, so it doesn't matter. It's like, man. I don't know.
Anywho.
It got better. I'll say that. I thought I was going to have to rip my eyes out. That's for 10 minutes, man.
Oh, yeah. First, yeah. Like, once you sit through the first part of it, like, the charm sets in.
No. It's not that. It's that the first 10 minutes are bad. The first 10 minutes are worse than the rest of the movie.
That's what I just said.
No, but it's not about the charm setting in. It's not like I got used to the bad. It's that the first 10 minutes are among the worst of all of the movie.
I meant, like, charming stuff appears.
Oh, I
see
what
like
you mean.
The movie
oh, okay. I thought
a little bit more.
I gotcha. Gotcha. I also watched all of the first season of Batman Beyond.
Nice.
And I'm reminded how much I liked that show. It's got a really cool... I forgot about the Spellbinder, which was the character they made for that show, who was pretty cool. He was very much like Mysterio, but... actually, he was exactly like Mysterio. But they did a good job on that show. And their Dr. Freeze story in that show in the first season is really good, where that's the one where... because the villain in that show is like exposed to all this radiation, and so they're trying to figure out how to get him a normal body again. And so to test it, they go get Dr. Freeze's head, which is obviously a horrible idea. And they're like, well, we're going to take your brain and put it in a clone body and see how you do. Because if that works, we'll do it to Powers. And then it's this really sort of beautiful, kind of heartbreaking, as most Mr. Freeze stories are, where he gets this body back and he's a nice guy and he's like saving little girls' cats and shit. But then like his body starts to deteriorate and he starts getting hot everywhere he is, even when it's snowing. And there's this beautiful shot where he's outside and he's walking and he's sweating and he's having a really hard time, and he looks up and it's starting to snow. And which it doesn't actually make sense, because then like the next the next shot, it's like springtime somewhere. But it's just the idea, just that shot of it starting to snow around him and he's sweating. It's awful. It's awesome. But then like the next episode is this really awful ripoff of Fantastic Four that was. I remember that episode and I didn't realize how bad it was, because it is them telling the story of Fantastic Four and Doctor Doom, like the exact script from that first Fantastic Four movie, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's the same story, but at the end, Batman shows up and saves them. And it's, 2D man and a magma guy and a wispy woman, but there's no Human Torch. And they're called, like, the Terrific 3 or something like that. Like, oh, that's bad, but that show's cool.
It is a cool show. I haven't seen it in years.
Yeah. I might have to lend it to you once you're done with all the Batman you have.
I know. I have to get caught up. I was so mad. I kept on meaning to watch him, but...
And I really like Terry McGinnis. I do. Like, I never cared about most of the Robins, but Terry McGinnis, I was totally into. Anyway.
I bet you were.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
That was funny.
Whoa. How long did we have to watch Twink suck that guy's dick in that alleyway? It was really long. That was a long scene.
So, Brad, what have you been watching?
Brad, what have you been watching?
I know, that was a horrible segue, James.
Unfortunately, not much, so moving on.
Nothing of note?
I watched more Mr. Show, which is great. I watched Family Guy Volume 9, which is a bunch of episodes I already saw, unfortunately. So I was hoping to find like later ones on the DVD that I maybe missed, and I saw them all.
You know which one really works well on that DVD, though, is the really long murder mystery episode is really good. With Diane Simmons.
Yeah, that's the thing that bugged me. Is like, why'd they pick her as the and then actually kill off real character? Like those characters that died in that episode are dead in the show.
Yeah, but have you seen the replacement for Diane Simmons on the news show? It's the same exact voice, just a different character.
Different character, yeah.
It's funny,
but Mark Goldman's wife's dead.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really well done, that episode.
It has like
it's kind of Hitchcockian.
Alludes to Gosford Park, I felt.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Especially the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
Except for the villain actually getting killed.
Yeah.
Part. But anyway, yeah, I watched that, and then I saw The Dark Knight Rises for my 8th time, second time IMAX.
Wow, I didn't realize it was up that high.
Yeah, I've only got 5 more to go, and I'll just go to the Elvis Theater and crank them out at like $3 a pop.
Good for you.
So, they actually played Raiders of the Lost Ark when I got in there, and then I was kind of sitting there thinking, like, did I go to? There's only one IMAX theater in here. What's going on? And then I got up, went outside, and they're like, "Uh-oh!" And they got on their like little microphones and said, "Changed their movie in room 9 or whatever." And then I went back.
Were you the only one in there?
No, there were a bunch of other people. Like when I came back into the room, because I got up like right away, like this is wrong. And then as soon as I was coming out, like a whole wave of people were starting to come out, like wondering what was going on.
I thought they were
They're
scared.
changing it. They're changing it. Go back inside.
Yeah,
we're not crazy. We're not in the wrong room.
Did you get free M&Ms?
No,
I did when they didn't project the movie right in my theater.
I was rewarded with a couple sitting behind me chatting the whole fucking time.
Gosh!
And also rewarded with having to move across.
I don't remember Harrison Ford in this movie. Is he Batman?
There's maybe like 8 to 10 people in there.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Now you have to set a rule though. If you're going to the Elvis theater to see Batman, if the reel burns up halfway through the movie, does that count as a viewing? Exactly halfway.
I think we'll have to solve this on the next episode of Real Nerds Podcast.
Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Cool. So now it's time for the Comic Corner.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
Anyways, I'm going to recommend a book, a trade paperback I picked up a while ago that I finally finished.
Cool.
And it's called Deviate, Gods and Monsters, which is a Rebecca Isaacs book written by Brian Wood. And the Deviate are teenage kids, kind of maybe a little older than teenagers, and they're part of a program that they're given superpowers. And the part of this program is actually the second series of Deviate. I don't know anything about it, so it took me a little bit to get going in it.
But you picked it up there because of Rebecca Isaacs.
Oh yeah,
gotcha.
But what happens is all these superheroes are dropped onto this like kind of prehistoric world where there's all these different tribes.
Like dinosaurs or
no, prehistoric people.
Yeah, okay.
I guess simple people. I don't even know how you describe it.
Pre-civilization.
There we go, pre-civilization.
Humanoids.
But each of them have a different kind of faction where some of them are sorcerers and things like that, and they all gravitate towards these superheroes who they believe are gods.
Gotcha.
And it's a really interesting character study about what happens with when you have power over people. What do you do with the power? One guy sleeps with a bunch of women, another guy murders people, and it's told through the point of view of this girl. And she's kind of just, trying to get everybody to say, hey, we're not here for this purpose. We're here to maybe study. I'm not going to spoil it because you kind of figure out what they're doing the whole time. But they're put there on purpose by the people that control them to see how they react to this environment. And it's really interesting, and it's a really cool character study. The art is fucking fantastic in it.
Surprise.
And what was really interesting is she kind of has the same style. She didn't really change her style, like she said in her interview with us, for Angel and Faith. It's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
And her line work, I've always said this about her. I love her line work. It's so clean. But yeah, you should pick it up. It's a really interesting book.
Is it something where you think you're going to go back and get the previous ones so that you can sort of see where it came from?
I don't know. Maybe because the previous one is written in it's drawn and written by Jim Lee. So from his Wildstorm imprint.
Yeah.
So I mean, I might check it out. I don't know. We'll see.
Look pretty.
Yeah,
it seems like
cool.
It seems like it'd be a pretty different book because he and she have very different art.
Oh yeah, because even the cover for the trade paperback is Jim Lee.
Oh,
and Jim Lee's kind of sketchy.
Yeah,
he's good though. I mean, his Batman run was awesome.
Right,
but he kind of has that little more scratch, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Well, and just the way he shapes his characters,
yeah,
I feel is very different. It's very traditional superhero.
It is, and she that's what I really like about her too. She doesn't make the women like really busty. Mm-hmm. And even when she did her Miss Marvel, she's not even like super busty like Miss Marvel really is, drawn by men.
Right.
So
yeah. I was going to say, please finish that sentence. Please finish that sentence.
But yeah, I think you should pick it up. It's a really interesting book, and it's really good. It really, really is. I'm not just saying that because Rebecca Isaacs. The writing in it's really good too.
Yeah.
And it's kind of one of those books that went under the radar because it's Wildstorm and DC's. We'll make 2,000 copies of this or whatever. But yeah, you should pick it up, and it's a really interesting character study, and I think it's fascinating to see if you had superpowers, what would you do with them if you believed yourself superior to other people.
Right.
Yeah, I should definitely pick it up. So yeah, Deviate, Gods and Monsters. You can pick it up at Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, 20% off trade paperbacks. And the trade paperback's only, I think, $14, so
dude,
it's like a $10 comic.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, so
that's
pick it up.
2 issues.
Deviate. This week, on our Comic-Con interviews, Tom sat down with us. Tom was at the Denver Comic-Con, and he was actually selling all his comic books, and he'll tell you why right now. Well, Tom, my name's Ryan. I'm part of the Real Nerds podcast. This is Brad. He's our producer.
Hey, Brad.
He just wears the headphones. And
okay.
Tom, what do you do? What are you doing here at Comic-Con?
Well, I actually am carrying a box of comics around that I started collecting a long time ago, and I just thought, well, maybe this is a good time to see if I can sell them. And I went and visited a fellow at Heritage Auctions. But the reason I even knew about him is because I collect movie posters.
Oh, you really? What is your most prized movie poster that you have then?
Most prized? Well, that's hard to say. I have an Invasion of the Body Snatchers half-sheet style B.
Amazing.
A very rare one. I actually have it on consignment right now.
Wow.
So that's probably my big one. My favorite ones, I really like the Rocketeer.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen that poster?
Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful poster.
Chinatown.
Another amazing one.
Yeah.
So you like the really iconic ones then.
Right.
But I mean, I guess Rocketeer not really because not a huge box office smash.
No, but the image.
The image is amazing.
Art Deco. Don't do things like that anymore at all. I mean,
no.
they didn't do it before.
The Captain America poster isn't that way, but the movie had the Art Deco feel to it, and it was really fun.
I like that. I like that quite a bit.
And you mentioned Prometheus before you sat down. Have you seen Prometheus?
I have seen Prometheus.
And what did you think of Prometheus?
I thought it was great.
We did too. We loved it.
I've seen the reviews out there, and a lot of people were sort of, I think Rotten Tomatoes or some site like that had about 75%.
Yeah.
So people are like, it's good, but they don't think it's great. And then Roger Ebert actually gave it 100.
Wow.
He thought it was a masterpiece.
Wow.
What about you? I mean, I think it's a little short of a masterpiece, but visually it's amazing.
I think short of masterpiece, yes. visually it's an amazing movie, but I think the story's told really well. I think it's shot very beautifully. I think it's a really cool movie. Yeah, a masterpiece. I don't know. I'll have to watch it again because I really want to. I thought it was one way. My wife there was telling me about how she interpreted it, and it blew my mind.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It is open to interpretation.
It is.
It's funny that the reviews I read, people were either saying, hey, I really like that it didn't tell you everything, that it lets you figure it out for yourself, or, hey, they told you everything. They didn't leave anything to your imagination, and I don't really understand that.
Yeah, I agree.
I consider myself a pretty bright person, and I thought it left some things open. I mean, for instance, and I don't know, maybe I should give a spoiler alert here or something like that.
We've already spoiled the movie, so by the time you're on our podcast, people already have listened to it will know.
I would hope so. But, at the end, she's saying, you know what, I want to take off and find that planet where these guys came from and ask them why.
Yeah.
And in the back of my mind, I was thinking, I want to go back to this planet full of this crap that they just, built, all these WMDs they just, I'm probably saying it wrong, and drop it off on them, see how they deal
Exactly.
with it.
We thought it'd be a cool. This is James, by the way.
Hey, James.
We thought it'd be cool if they did a movie where it was her traveling to find them.
Yeah.
Where it would be her and her robot head friend.
It just sounds like the cover of an old serial novel. Like you can just see the image of her carrying a head in an alien ship. Like it's such a cool idea.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think they ended it that way for a reason. I think they've already made 5 of them, so why not make a 6th one?
And why not make one that goes somewhere else?
Right.
Why not make one that stays in that universe, those ideas we love, but do something different?
Now, how well did you think they pieced things together at the end? Because, it wasn't entirely a prequel, but obviously the last 20 minutes or so, they're aligning everything up. The ship had to fall a certain way, and we had to get a creature that looked kind of like the alien in the movies.
Yeah.
What's interesting is if you go back and look through, I mean, Damon Lindelof is not an idiot, no matter what some people on the internet would say about him. He makes some deliberate choices, and so does Ridley Scott, to make it not line up, to add a little doubt. The ship doesn't quite fall exactly the same way. The signal that's on, like it's like LD 230 something or like something like that. That they say that number in Alien, it's a different number, and they purposely make it a different number to add some mystery to it. I think it's interesting, and the fact that spoilers for a movie.
Yeah, we've already covered that.
Okay, good. The fact that the space jockey does not die in his car, like he doesn't die in the jockey seat. So there are obviously things that don't line up. So they're not.
In Alien, they find that he's had a chest burster, right? I mean, something came out. Well, that didn't happen in this movie, and it's kind of hard to figure out how that would even happen. And it makes you think, well, maybe Alien actually started on a different planet.
Well, that's what I said it wrong.
Different moon.
That LD number is the number of the planet. That's like the
I
astral.
see.
So
Okay.
it is actually they make it a different planet.
Yeah, well, there's 2 moons, aren't there?
Yeah.
So maybe it's the other moon.
Yeah.
But
it's pretty crazy.
there were some similarities in how things looked in space in Alien to this one. So you figure, well, it's probably the same solar system or something, or the same planet they're revolving around. But
Agreed. Or they might be, they obviously have the technology to travel far distances because they came to Earth.
Right.
So maybe it's far away. So we'll get to see the space adventure of a robot head and his kick-ass girlfriend. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Tom, I missed this earlier, but Brad tells me that you're selling your comic book collection. What are you selling it for?
Well, I'm trying to. I was really trying to get it, sent to auction.
Oh.
But you're in the auction business. You got to be particular. There's a certain dollar amount that the comics have to be, and comics have changed an awful lot.
They have.
Since I was buying them. And I think the biggest thing is that in the last, 6 years or so, any comic that's not, even the big titles, the popular ones, the expensive ones, if they're not a 9.6 or a 9.8 or something, they're almost worthless.
Yeah.
I mean, not worthless, but boy, it's a big gap between the highly, the perfect ones and the ones that aren't so perfect.
Agreed. Well,
'Cause
Tom-
a lot of the fans are looking to buy, like, they just want one because it's cool and it'll look good on
Right.
the wall. They don't need it in the best condition. The people who are wanting to pay a lot of money want the very best.
They're
And
the
so that's
serious
why
collectors.
There's a
and
big
it's
money gap there.
It's the same way in the movie poster business too.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You know, there's some people that just want the image, so they don't care whether it's a reprint or not.
yeah.
They just like the image. And then you get the collectors. They like the idea of it having actually been in a movie theater.
Right.
And actually, a lot of people like that idea, even if they're not collectors.
Yeah.
And so they're willing to pay a little bit more money for one that was actually in a theater and has that image. And then you got people that say, well, I want the alternate style, or I want the advance, or that kind of thing. So it's an interesting hobby.
It is.
Cool.
Thanks, Tom, for sitting down with
Yeah.
us. I really appreciate it, and you missed it too. But he collects movie posters as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah,
You got
And
a Raiders of the Lost Ark poster?
Guess what? He said his favorite
yeah,
one is though
a few of them.
the Rocketeer.
Oh my God! Oh, I want to hug you so bad.
This guy loves a Rocketeer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it's awesome.
It's a beautiful poster.
And it's funny, it's funny. You may not know this, but Dave Stevens' biggest problem with that movie, the reason he argues it didn't do well, was because he thinks that the marketing, especially that poster, wasn't good enough. He thinks it was so stylized. Like, I am the opposite way, where I'm like, that is so cool. But he thinks that it plays to people like me and not to, your average Joe who would love that movie. Like, that movie's so good.
Yeah.
But no one went to see it.
Yeah.
How?
It was a fun movie. I mean, it wasn't the world's greatest movie or anything, but
No.
I don't know, for what it wanted to do, it did it
Yeah.
perfectly.
Pulp Fiction comes along very rarely.
Yeah.
So when it's done even that well,
Yeah.
it's gold.
Yep.
Yeah. That's too cool, Tom.
Awesome.
Well, I told you I could talk forever on movies.
Oh no,
I'll
yeah,
let you guys
it's
go.
awesome. No, we appreciate your time. Thank
Yeah,
you,
no
Tom. Have a
problem.
nice day.
All right, you
Have fun at
too.
the convention.
Hey, thanks,
All
Tom.
right.
Hey, Tom, thanks for stopping by the Real Nerds podcast booth.
Yeah, that was cool.
We're almost out of these interviews, but we might have some more at the Mile High Horror Fest. So stay tuned for that. Speaking of horror, this week we saw Resident Evil Retribution. James, should people go see RE5?
If you're like me and you think that product placement is really funny and you have been watching Paul W. S. Anderson movies for years.
Show
and
me the Carfax.
Always. Oh, God, the Carfax one was good. And you always enjoy watching this garbage, then yeah, you should run and see this movie because this is the Resident Evil movie you've wanted since the last Resident Evil movie. But the rest of normal people should avoid this like the plague because it's awful.
Like the Las Plagas? Or
No,
the
just
Plague?
Like,
Okay.
no, the Black Plague.
Okay.
Yeah.
Brad, should people go see Resident Evil 5?
I don't think it was possible that a movie could put me in such a bad mood as I'm in right now. It was, like you said, you stole my adjective. It was garbage, and I think I can make a case that there is actually no script for this movie.
Oh no, there's not.
It was just they got a bunch of set pieces that they thought were cool, but they're not, and they're completely uninventive. And they just said, "Start rolling the camera." All right, just say whatever. Terrible. It's terrible.
I don't think it's that bad. Here's a trailer.
You fucker.
Come on, babe. Rise and shine. Let's get that beautiful ass out of bed.
You want cereal? What's it, Tiger? Please get a room.
Sorry.
None of this is real. None of this is real. All these memories were imprinted.
My name is Alice.
Alice, how nice to see you again.
What the hell is going on here?
We have you under all control.
They used me to perfect the virus. Everyone I've ever known. Everything I've ever done is being used against me. Now they can manipulate the world.
We've taken over New York, Moscow, Tokyo. This is humanity's last stand. The beginning of the end.
I'm gonna kill you.
Good luck. You'll need it.
Umbrella's more powerful than ever. And we're the only ones who can stop them.
Waiting for a written invitation?
Sweet ride.
Let me argue against your there is no script for this, because I think you're overestimating Paul W. Sanderson's talent in as far as writing is concerned, because he is the kind of person who would write dialogue like this.
Well,
because
guys,
there is no
can we set
plot.
up the movie first, please?
Okay,
please.
fine,
Can we
fine,
set up
fine,
the movie?
fine. I just didn't want to let that.
Please don't. I don't want to relive it.
I didn't want to let that lie. I wanted to make sure that Brad knew this movie was actually worse, because we can't make excuses for it. Okay.
So what I thought was actually kind of funny is we always joke that Paul W. Sanderson movies end with a shot on the heroes and it pans out and you see there's a bigger
Usually there's like one helicopter coming in and then more helicopters and then more, or one boat and then more and then more. But it's always pulling back and things get worse as you go.
But what's kind of funny is, as I was watching the opening of this movie during the credits, I'm like, did Paul W. Sanderson listen to our podcast? Because he's kind of like poking fun at himself, where it's going in reverse of what he usually does, which I actually thought the opening was kind of interesting. I'm like,
I did too.
I'm saying he's doing something kind of cool here, where he's going backwards. But then he decided that he's going to show that scene again.
Yeah.
After he has Alice give the literally the first 15 minutes of the movie is
that explains the rest of the trilogy, or not trilogy. That's
the quadrilogy.
The first 4 movies. Yeah.
Which is really unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
Did they? Is there a studio mandate for that? Maybe where it says you have to explain the rest of these movies.
When it goes to this whole idea, and especially with the way this movie ends, with that whole melee that goes on for way too long, I wonder if he is delusional enough to think that he has been like building to something over 5 movies, because he clearly doesn't. He clearly just like, okay, where did we leave the last one? All right, here's some random shit. And then he'll leave it off somewhere else, just insane.
Yeah, and I'll actually.
But that opening makes you feel like, and it's, with retelling all of the stuff that happened for way too long, makes you feel like, okay, some of this stuff is going to come back, but it doesn't.
And to Brad's point at the beginning, I actually agree. I think he looked at it and says, "Well, my wife is hot, so I'm going to put her in action scenes where we kind of show her off."
Mm-hmm.
But there's really nothing advancing a plot.
No.
It's nothing is really happening except her literally killing zombies in a cool way. Like that scene in the hallway, I thought was pretty badass, where she was hitting them with chain and shooting them and stuff. But as a service for the movie with a plot, it had nothing to do with the movie at all. It's just, hey, my wife looks really cool in skin-tight clothes. She should kill things.
That's what... I laughed, and Brad, I'm sure can attest to this, that how often I was laughing through this movie. But every time that something would happen, like when they introduced the fact that the whole plot is she's in a building, and there are guys outside. She needs to get out of the building. There are guys outside trying to get in to save her out of the building. And also, the building is a series of rooms that look like different cities and different locations, so she can fight zombies in them. I was like, this is the most simple and inane plot device for like globe trekking in an action movie like this. Like it's room to room combat. That's all it is.
Yeah, and the thing that always, I still think the movies are fun, but like the thing that always irked me about the movies is what's Umbrella's end game? What are they trying to prove?
Oh no, they've completely lost that. And she always, especially at the beginning of the movies, she always talks like, "Oh, Umbrella's still around, and they've got this evil plan." They never have an evil plan. What they do is they capture her and they build a room around her that's just bright, and everything. The floor is always the umbrella symbol, and usually it turns on really slowly
and has armor ready to go.
Yeah, and and if the security system shuts down, they give her clothes and a gun, and they open the door for her and let her into the hallway.
The gun she got out of the police car. Come on, let's remember the movie, right?
One of the nitpicky things was she goes out into Tokyo and there's a police car and she wants to get in it so she can get the gun. So she looks over and there's a bike rack and there's just a chain with a lock on it hanging over. Nobody locked the bike up. They just left their chain.
It's a simulation. Maybe the simulating guys forgot to put the chain on the bike.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But that's, again, it's literally, I'm going to go from set piece to set piece with no coherent plot.
No.
And then they literally the only plot that they would advance a story is they would have Wesker or Alice tell you what was happening.
Yeah.
And I guess you're supposed to be terrified of the little British girl who says, "Kill them all."
Oh, I can't believe they brought her back. I mean, he really did. Like, at some point in making this movie, he decided, okay, I've made this epic 4-movie series, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to pay homage to everything that I've done and get every shitty actor that's been in this series and just every awful moment. Because that little girl in the first one is not bad, but in this one, she's in it constantly, and she pops, like, you know, a scene will end, and all of a sudden the screen will go red, and she'll pop up, and she'll be like, "Kill Project Alice," and then like some zombies will come in, and it'll just keep the action going for no real reason. She just spawns shit left and right. Oh.
And as a Resident Evil fan, I mean, they do things where they remind you that this is Resident Evil, like the elevator going down. I mean, that's a Resident Evil device where you're on an elevator and it's going down really slowly and the monsters jump on.
Yeah.
But I was hoping that they would do that. You know, they're either going up or down on this huge elevator, and then they're overran by lickers or zombies or something. That would be cool. Yeah. But instead, it gets stopped. And I didn't understand too. In the credits, they said, you know, so and so as Leon S. Kennedy. Like you had to know that they were bringing in the video game characters to make you like it more. I didn't get it.
I don't know.
I just don't understand some of his choices, and the editing was so bad. I mean, the scene where Leon and Ada Wong are talking,
Whoa.
He says,
I don't know any of these characters' names because this movie is really bad. Who are you talking about?
The guy with the bangs in his face and the Chinese girl.
The guy they wanted to be Sawyer from Lost, and
Yeah.
the Asian girl with the large slit up the side of her
They
dress.
literally just took the costumes from the video game and put them on. It's like fan service. But if you're going to do fan service, why don't they just make it like the fucking games where you don't have... Anyways, where he says, "I don't want you to go." And then there's like this pause before it cuts to her, and then she says her line, and then there's another pause, and then it cuts to him. He said, "Do you not understand like beats and rhythm in a script, or if there is a script?" And,
maybe they were trying to compensate for the bad acting.
Well, but
like,
that's the thing.
How do we
like,
chop this up to make it good?
Some of the actors that have been in this series can be good. There's one actor in this movie that I have seen be really good, and it's the guy who at the end gets his face slashed, right, and he delivers the only...
Oh, yes, Kevin Durant.
The only good, well-delivered line in the entire movie is when he sort of laughs and goes, "I'm actually kind of enjoying this," right? Like, it's the one time where the audience laughed legitimately at a line in the movie that was actually not that bad.
Yeah, and it's weird, too, because the character of Alice kind of went from this really serious kick-ass where she started spouting off these not very good one-liners.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I don't understand the tone of his movies sometimes.
But I feel like he is not good at getting good performances out of actors.
Oh,
I think he does the Ed Wood thing where he turns the camera on and is like, "Okay, this is the dialogue that I wrote," and then they do it really quick. And I don't. Okay, done.
And honestly, I think I don't think he's a bad director. Like,
No.
I think he has cool ideas, but...
I've said this for years. I think he is a hack.
Oh,
and,
dude.
And to be a hack, the two definitions there are that he has to have talent but squander it to make money. And I think if you watch, especially if you go back to some of his earlier movies, even something really stupid like Event Horizon, like, he does some cool stuff in there, and visually he does some cool stuff. I even think that there are movies that he's done where the editing and the action scenes have been kind of cool. Lately, he just green screens everything and close cuts the action so that it's nonsense. But I've seen him do stuff where I was like, that wasn't that bad. But now he makes so much money with these god awful movies that he doesn't even try anymore.
Oh no, you know that Suburbia opening? I mean, it's literally Dawn of the Dead, not as well done.
Oh,
because,
yeah.
you know me, I love zombie movies, and I think the remake of Dawn of the Dead, Zack Snyder's, the first 20 minutes I think are terrifying, and I think it's done very well.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, they try to do it, and just no, you know, and they even had her get in an accident with a big truck, like Dawn of the Dead.
It was
Oh my gosh.
exactly the same sequence
and kind of the same beats too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's such a bummer because I honestly believe that the movies do have potential, but you're right. It's like he has some. You feel like he has some grand plan, but then you realize he doesn't have a plan. He's just
winging it.
He's going from set piece to set piece, and how cool can I make this look? And I don't really care if the story makes sense or not.
all I got from the whole movie is it feels like they greenlit a new movie and they went in and then halfway through like, we're bored with this. Why are we doing this again other than a paycheck? This is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just get it done and move on.
That's what I mean. I think he only because he gets the movies greenlit. Like he's already talking.
Everybody in the movie, like even secondary characters, Mila Jovovich, they just all look so like. Oh, I gotta say this line. We're going to this. You can kind of see it behind their eyes. Like this just doesn't.
Yeah, I
have
guess
any purpose.
too,
This makes sense. This is so lame.
You'd think it'd be cool when they're fighting the two executioners are fighting the two female leads. But then it just kind of ends because they're like, oh, we're kind of out of ideas.
Yeah,
so we'll just have them blow up. I mean, I thought it'd been cooler if they get hit with the fire, then they throw off that car and they're on fire now and chasing them.
Yeah,
but
flaming monsters would be cool.
How come I have better ideas than Paul W.S. Anderson? Hey, freaking Screen Gems! If you're listening to this, I could write a better Resident Evil movie.
Oh God, I laughed. The first thing that came on the screen was just Screen Gems in the Resident Evil font, and I laughed at that. Even that was a joke.
Yeah, the product placement was really bad.
Oh yeah.
The GameStop one.
The GameStop one was the first one that really.
The Rockstar one that the monsters came out of. The Rockstar.
No, that was the Escape. She
the
was getting
Escape was
chased
Rockstar.
by monsters.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden Rockstar opened up and she could escape through Rockstar.
Are the zombie commies the worst shooters since the Imperial Force in Star Wars?
Again, that's a thing that like. Kind of could be cool visually. Like, oh, dude, some Soviet zombies. All right, here's something interesting. Makes no sense in the movie.
No.
Why is it that the Russians would want to buy something that turns their guys into some kind of mutant? And why are they like World War II Soviets?
Yeah, and why are they so close in shooting and they're not hitting them? Like, it wouldn't have been more terrifying if it's literally just thousands of zombies coming after him? I think so.
Oh, yeah. But they're the kind of action sequences where bad guys pull rocket launchers out of nowhere and shoot it at our heroes, and our heroes duck. Those are the action sequences that we get in this movie.
Remember that part where Alice is really good at like shooting people in like one shot, but then when she goes up against Jill Valentine at point blank range, she just can't seem to like get one bullet in her. And then she turns to Michelle Rodriguez and like lays a bunch into her.
It went to Mortal Kombat all of a sudden. They started doing X-ray moves where Michelle Rodriguez would punch people, and then it showed the insides of them crushing. I'm like,
oh, gosh,
he ripped that off from Mortal Kombat.
Well, he rips everything off.
Which he made.
That he made that, but
that Mortal Kombat movie is not that bad. It really isn't.
No,
but
and here's there's a part of me that wants to listen through some of the soundtrack to this movie because I'm pretty sure that once again he stole a couple of cues from Pirates of the Caribbean, as well as that scene where the guy gets shot, and he falls down, and then he gets back up and shoots a guy, and then he gets shot again and falls down again. You know that scene, which was awful? The cues right there are the Inception cues. Like that wah, like that building up thing. And they are, yes, that is a pretty general thing, but the way the tone's built, I was like, this is almost exactly the same as Inception. And based on what he did in his last movie, Three Musketeers, where he flat out stole the Sherlock Holmes and Pirates of the Caribbean themes, I think that at some point he has realized he can get away with that, and I think he's doing it. I think that he is stealing
He's
bits
so
of
conniving
scores.
that
until James rises up and takes him down on
Well,
a
I mean,
podcast.
None of this is as bad as Three Musketeers was, because Three Musketeers, someone should sue him for that because it's really bad there, like Vanilla Ice bad.
Well, you know what's really bad is this says evil goes global. She really didn't go global.
No, she's in the same building.
What was the retribution part?
Yeah, the retribution didn't make any sense. The afterlife didn't make sense. Apocalypse didn't make sense.
The subtitles.
Well, Afterlife, she came back from the dead.
Did she come back from
No,
the
she
dead?
didn't. No, Afterlife, there were clones of her, and all the other clones died at the beginning of the movie, and she was the only one left.
Well, yeah, it's symbolism.
Oh, you know what? I guess the afterlife could be that she lost all her powers, so she's...
No, not till the end.
Yeah.
She doesn't lose her powers till the end of that movie.
No, it's at the beginning where she gets stuck with Wesker in the airplane when she's escaping, or the helicopter thing.
Oh, is that at the beginning?
Yeah.
And then Wesker comes back in the
this
boat?
movie where she's like, I'm going to kill you, but then they like cut to the next scene where they're walking on top of the White House,
Yeah.
and they're just like, all right, well, what's your plan first before I kill you?
Why don't you just kill him anyways?
Yeah. And then remember that part when she walks out into Tokyo there, and there's like a 20-minute montage of her just like looking at that Japanese girl, and then her turning around. It goes on.
Yeah, like that's one of those things where I think he puts in slow motion, so his movies are longer.
I wonder if it looks better in 3D.
Yeah. No, gosh, there's so many like.
No, but I wonder if it's an effective 3D. Like if it had been 3D, like it wouldn't have felt as long because
Maybe.
it would have been like crossing in front of your view.
Because when you got bored, you could look at other things on the screen.
Maybe the umbrellas floating around look cool in 3D. I don't know.
You know the thing that drives me nuts too is a guy he has play Wesker. Obviously watched Wesker from the games, and it's his interpretation of the character, but he's not good.
Nobody in this. Honestly, I'd like to have a conversation about whether you thought that the actress who plays Jill Valentine or the actress who plays the Asian chick were worse. Like, which of those two do you think is worse?
I think it was Jill Valentine.
You think
where
so?
She delivered some lines. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
I think every line she's delivered was just
is just the worst line.
inflected very poorly.
Until she's not mind controlled anymore. So I think she was doing something on purpose there, but still, even after that was bad.
Your character is under control of this spider thing. So use that as your motivation. So I'm a robot. Is that what you're saying?
No, exactly. That's exactly what.
Yeah,
it
it's
feels
weird
like.
because as a huge fan of this game series, Wesker is kind of this arrogant guy. And so, when he's trying to kill you, he's like, oh, that's not good enough, Chris, or whatever he says. But this guy tries to do that, but not do it very effectively.
Yeah.
So it's really weird. Anyways.
Man. And Michelle Rodriguez is actually trying. I think she is trying because she's just glad she's not in jail anymore. But
did she go to jail?
She's bad, yeah. But she is bad in this movie. In both of her roles. I was really glad when she got knocked across the room and her neck broke. Because I was like, oh, good. One less Michelle Rodriguez in this movie. Not few enough, but one less.
What was her line? Like, hey, where'd you pick up these guys?
Yeah.
What was that
The
line?
girls liked it.
Yeah.
Why was the liquor harvesting people?
Yeah, why? How come it comes and gets Newt and takes Newt and puts it in an alien pod?
Who was that guy who luckily had bomb strapped to him that slid out of the pod?
Yeah, where'd that guy come from? And how come he didn't do that in the first place?
And I love, too, all the random umbrella bad guys that are just there conveniently.
I like the part where Paul W.S. Anderson deliberately tortures the audience for 5 minutes. Where, so she wakes up in that room where it's got the floor that looks
5
like
minutes,
umbrella.
more like 90 minutes.
And she's dressed in paper. And then
I saw some nip slip.
And then the one room pops up and Jill Valentine delivers an awful line as poorly as she can. And
Who do you work for?
And then there's some more bad dialogue. And then there's the most ear-shattering, awful garbage noise. And then he does it again and again. Maybe even 4 times, and it just goes on, and it's like, okay, you realize we're watching this movie. You're actually torturing us during this movie.
It's funny you say that. I was thinking the same thing. Like, is this movie trying to piss me off?
Yeah, no, I did.
He's like, you like Resident Evil? Well, fuck you.
Exactly. You think Umbrella is cool? Well, fuck you. Oh no, exactly.
It's funny too because
my half-naked wife.
Fuck your dirty thoughts.
My stepbrother who came with us, he actually likes the movies. He says, oh, they're not great, but it's cool to see her kick ass. And then at the end, he's like, he even looked at me and says,
But it's not even like, I don't feel like she is a good female heroine. Like, there's that scene where she and the Newt and Michelle Rodriguez are in the underground, and she basically tells Michelle Rodriguez that the thing that makes you a badass is being able to shoot a gun. Not even just being able to shoot a gun. And I was like, no, that is not what should be defining this. I mean, there's no character as far as
Paul W. Sanderson messed up because even in the first one, it was intriguing where you thought that she was kind of this out of place girl. And what's she doing there? But it turned out she was actually a villain.
Right.
But she just happened to get her. I forget how it goes, but she was not a good person. To me, that's more interesting that she's a heroine in that one because she's flawed.
Yeah.
And she has to kind of have redemption. Maybe that's a new title, Resident Evil Redemption.
But that would imply any kind of character development on this. You could literally, this character in this movie is the same as the character in Ultraviolet. There's no difference. They are both just nonsense, action-y characters that do nothing.
Honestly, I don't know where he can possibly go with the story because what's the next step when?
He'll theme everything very Assassin's Creed 3.
Is there going to be something underground and they have to escape it?
It was all a dream.
No, yeah, she'll have to.
Do none of the nations have a nuke? Like no one fired one off to
No,
destroy
you don't
everybody?
understand because they don't use nukes anymore because they used biological warfare, which would never actually happen because it's not accurate. Like
You're making a joke.
No, that's
No,
what.
that's
in
what
the
he
movie,
said.
Wesker has that long speech where he's like, "Oh, we didn't need
No one
nukes anymore."
stockpiled any nukes anywhere.
No.
No, I guess
like,
they got.
oh,
rid
we
of
have the
them.
bio, so destroy all the nukes. We got the bioweapon.
But just the idea of that is insane because nobody's going like. Canada's not going to shoot a bioweapon into America. Russia's not going to shoot a bioweapon into America because it's going to spread to places, especially if it's something like zombieism. Like, okay, well, it's a horrible idea. It's a horrible, horrible plot device. This movie is awful.
That's why
I had so much
something
fun.
like The Walking Dead is so much smarter.
Yeah,
because everyone's infected and it overtakes you before you can make a difference.
One of the funniest movies I saw all year. this movie. And it's got mutilisks at the end, which you guys don't appreciate. But I died at the end of this movie. There were mutilisks, and I was like, "What the fuck is that doing in this movie?" And you say they're from Resident Evil, but I don't care. That shot is literally from the StarCraft 2 trailer.
I believe you. I'm sure he stole it from StarCraft 2 and Resident Evil.
Oh man.
You can email us, realnerds@gmail.com. You can like us on Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. Go to our website, realnerdspodcast.com. Download us on iTunes. Search Real Nerds Podcast. You can also tweet us, real_nerds. Call us, 720-6nerds5. Next week, we're seeing Dread. I hope we don't dread that one. Actually, still getting really good reviews.
So good.
Yeah,
Good
should be
reviews,
fun.
man.
Should be fun. We're also going to try to set up an interview with Tom Sullivan, Alex's dad. So stay tuned for that. Until next week, fucking bye.
Bye.